So buyers, let's talk about the earnest money deposit. So this deposit is really your good faith deposit that goes with any offer that you submit on a property. The amount of this earnest money deposit can vary, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the actual earnest money deposit can be in the form of a check or a wire, or you can do a mobile deposit with a lot of title companies. So it's kind of the same as you do for your banks. When you have a check, you take a picture of it, and that money is deposited from your account into the person who is holding the earnest money's account. And so there are two different scenarios there. Either, and in most cases today, the title company that is closing your transaction is going to hold the earnest money, or it's going to be your real estate agent's brokerage that's going to hold it. Either way, this deposit is going to show up on your settlement sheet as a credit that you have paid before closing. So it's going to be deducted from the total amount that you have to bring to the table. So how much should this deposit be? The deposit should be anywhere between 1% of the sales price, right? Because remember, it's showing skin in the game. So for example, if you have a sales price of $300,000 that you have offered on a property, your earnest money deposit at 1% would be $3,000. Remember, the more skin in the game you have, the more serious you look to the seller. But I wouldn't take it too far doing like all of your closing money in your earnest money deposit. But remembering, the more you do, the better it looks for the seller when you're submitting an offer, especially in these multiple bid situations. And so what happens to this why do you have to put this earnest money deposit, and what happens to it if you default on your obligations within the contract? Well, if you default, the seller could take your earnest money deposit and you could lose whatever amount you put up front. But there are various ways that protect your earnest money deposit throughout the process. The first one is with your contingencies in your offer. So this would be your home inspection contingency. You have 7 days to complete your home inspection. If you don't like the results, then you would void the contract and you would get your earnest money back. The appraisal contingency. Let's say that the home, you wrote the offer for $300,000 and it appraised for $250,000. At this point, you can get out of the contract if the seller is not willing to reduce the price to the amount that it appraised for. And again, you would walk away with your earnest money deposit. If your financing falls through, this also is a way that you can still get out of the transaction and walk away with your money. The one that a lot of people don't think about is the homeowner association or condo association documents. The seller has an obligation to provide you with a copy of the HOA or COA documents. And if they do not, submit those to you, or if they submit them to you and you don't like something that is in the verbiage, in the rules and the regulations for the HOA or the condo, you can also get out of the contract with this. And so that's really what your earnest money deposit is. We've talked about, how much you should put down, and also what are the ways that you can walk away from the contract and not lose your earnest money. I hope this tip was very helpful for you. Have a good one.